You can do this with your eyes closed, can't you?
Man, you know, they said, how you do this? Well, it's a job. Plus, when we first started doing this, you know, we wanted to find out, give our people a good service. So we was always getting taken advantage of. But we didn't know. I worked in furniture factories where I learned my trade. I was never allowed to upholster. Not till I found a northerner that was willing to take a shot. They opened up a new plant to give me and my brother a job, building arms. Other than that, black guys had to work the dirtiest jobs in the furniture plant.
What was that?
Staining, like getting wood. You know, you had to spray this black stuff they call lacquer, and you have to wipe it off, and it run through a hot room, and sometimes you would have to bleach it. Had a brother one time, he worked in the bleach room, and his hair was as black as my bottom of my feet. But after working in that bleach room, him and my brother-in-law, damn hair turned red. They was redheads.
Wow.
yeah. They were blacks with red hair. Yeah, that's it. But they give us the dirtiest job they could give us. We had the dirtiest jobs that paid the least. And but they was jobs. $1.47 in 1967. That's how much my first job paid was $1.47 an hour. Taking home $60 a week with overtime. Maybe. White boys over there taking home a couple $100 a week upholstery.
Wow.
Then we found this liberal, like I say, give me my brother's job. I went from taking $65 home a week to $250 home a week.
Doing your own thing.
Doing my, you know, shoot, man. I got spoiled after that, man.
You knew you weren't going back working for anybody.
I knew I wasn't going back, you know. I remember when I quit my last public job, I went to work for a company called Krailer as a pattern maker. That's the only thing I really didn't know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
And after I learned that job, I quit. I told them, man, I'm quitting. I'm not a good employee, and you just don't pay me what I'm worth. So that's why we had to look at it back then. There was jobs. This was in the '60s. You know, there was jobs. Growing up, it wasn't. You made fun out of it. You had to make fun out, keep them going crazy, you know, and you could always pick on the man, because we learned earlier that when we had numbers, he wasn't as big as he thought he was. So that was the way. That way we would pass a day. And, you know, it was hectic. It was dirty. A lot of the jobs, you know, like I said, my brother and them used to work in what they call the bleach room, and everybody that worked in there, man, after a while, their hair just turned red. Every hair that was exposed to the element was red. And but you didn't even think about what in the world is it doing to you on the inside, you know. And then had friends that worked in mills, you know, all that dust and everything flying around. And you notice later on in life, those folks end up cancer. A lot of them lost their hearing, you know, but at the time you never put it to your job where you had to work. You come out of that shop, you couldn't hear nothing. You'd be talking to somebody, it might be 45 minutes before you really could adjust your ears to what they was talking about, you know. Later on, they used to give them earplugs. That was down the road, though. But really, when you come out, especially out of them meals, you couldn't hear a thing.
I look at this picture, and I keep it because it, in a way, it reminds me of what we had done. But this time I was working for myself, because I quit my job in the late 70s or 80s, and seeing her and seeing them people hollering at her made me think, when me and my brother, we first went into business for ourselves, we asked ourselves, when will we get our first white customer? And we've been in business about 2 weeks, and here come one. And we done his job, and he sent us more jobs. And you look at this picture and you say, well, you can imagine what she was thinking. She's thinking, I don't give a damn what she think. I've got this right. I paid my right, and I'm going to get me some education. And when we put our kids in school, that's what we was thinking. They said, don't worry about them. They can't stop you from listening. Only you can stop yourself from learning. So if they never call on you, you just fine. But this picture here is inspiration. It's yesterday, really, and it's still today. In certain areas, it's still today. You look, see what's going on right now. It's still here. So this is a reminder. If you don't stand up, you'll get trampled on. It took a lot of courage for her to do that, but she don't even hear those jeers. I've heard that before. You know, I've experienced stuff like that, but you don't pay no attention, because your goal's higher than theirs. They're selfish. Wouldn't be for us, they wouldn't even be here. So no, it's a wonderful picture. You know, so it's something you can always learn from. And people, we don't know our history, and this was, that's 57. That's 43. That's less than 75 years. You hear some people say, "Yeah, we ain't come nowhere." Oh, we've took a giant step. We still got another giant step to take, but it can't be stopped now. It's like the ocean. It's just gonna flow. It's gonna get better and better. So we good. Our future looks good. Yeah, starting my own business. To be honest, it was scary. But I knew I didn't have much choice, because I wasn't a good employee. I didn't like somebody else running my time. And if you're going to raise a family, you have to show them that you can make it on your own. So, faith. Believe that you can do it. If it didn't work out for you, you could always go back to doing what you was doing, a worker. But I knew that was going to never be me, because it just wasn't there. You know, I saw how the man done, and I said, well, once I become a business owner, I'll know how to treat an employee, you know. And I said, that was me. I said, times was rough, yeah, but as my grandma used to tell me, yeah, it'll get rough, but it'll get easier. Just don't lose sight of what you're looking for, you know. So always stay on the path. You stay on that path, even if you don't get there, you're on your way, and plus you're free. I was free, actually free. Once I said, well, I'm gonna call my own shots, and I'm gonna trust my Lord just like you trust your Lord. And I said, I became free that day. So I knew right then I was never gonna work for nobody else in that capacity again, to control my time, because time is all I had, and you was sucking it up and not paying me what I was worth.
When you hear that cranking sound, what does that signify for you? After all the years of being, in this space to where you do it.
This sound right here?
Yeah.
That means, man, that means I'm doing something right. That means that I'm breaking that bolt. I'm one step closer to my overall objective, which is getting this back off. Everything in this trade happens in stages. Can't put something back on until you take something off. Can't take something off until you got everything apart. Typically things are held on by these bolts. And once they come off, it's like breaking the bondage. So I guess if anything, it really symbolizes keep pushing. The work will be hard at first, but if you keep up, it soon become easy.
A lot of us learn by our hands because basically that's who we were. We was made to figure out things, how to make things work. I remember one time I went to Wilmington with this me and my son-in-law, my two son-in-laws, we went and visited this house. And I never will forget when I touched that carpenter's tool and they showed me what he had used that for to make all them different designs in that mansion. And he had to figure that out himself. But that was passed along, so that's still worthy today. So same thing with this. It's a trade. It's always going to be a need, and it ensures that you can take care of your family. You don't have to be dependent on somebody else, and you can also help somebody else take care of their family. I've taught a few guys certain aspects of this trade. We've done cars. There's those that knows how to do headliners. There's those that even when you tear a piece of furniture down, that's a skill. You have to tear it down to where the person that's going to put it back together is not going to have any problem in putting it back together. So all that works into one. So in being able to pass this trade along to my son and my grandson doesn't do it, but he has very good knowledge of it. That means that I really don't have to worry about them later on in life because they may work somewhere else, but they'll always be able to provide for their family. And them being men, that's their responsibility. So a trade is something, once you've got it, nobody can take it away from you. So that's the importance of having a trade.